It's been a year since my first video on Nadia and a couple months since my second, with both bringing a lot of attention to just how far she was willing to cheat her way to the top of the Call of Duty community, even going as far to dox 2 people who dared speak bad about her on stream. Around this time, she also decided to start shifting her career into a new scope, and one that will lead down a path of desperation to get as much attention to herself as she possibly could. Shout out to the Patreon members as always, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so yourself by checking out the link below or in the corner. Now let's get right back into the story of Nadia and see what's gone down since my last video. Nadia would immediately start to dip her toes into IRL content soon after being a confirmed doxer, as on January 9th, 2023, she would participate in a wrestling match with another streamer to get some heat off her back. Remember that time when Activision flew her out to what seemed to be the middle of nowhere? Well, it turns out that was for an event with their sponsor GMC to promote their brand new car, as on January 23rd, she'd make a tweet about her experience with the car surrounded by a bunch of other popular streamers alongside a small commercial showing it off for everybody to see. On February 22nd, she would do her first ever IRL stream hanging out at Topgolf, and on February 6th, she would hit the coveted 1 million follower mark on Twitch, joining the club of a very small amount of people that have gotten to that point in their careers. On February 15th, she was finally able to upload the full video of the GMC sponsorship she was at, with that like to dislike ratio getting spicier with every passing day. The video itself is nothing special and is just a bunch of popular streamers hanging around the new car while they promote all the features and such. And when seeing someone who clearly cheated their way to that position, you can't help but feel some type of way when watching. On February 17th, Call of Shame will upload a video going over Nadia and her experience on the Twitch rival streamer Wolf 4 when she played Fortnite against a slew of other random streamers. Before showing the event, he would actually play a clip of her admitting to stealing a Samsung exclusive Fortnite skin, so you already get an idea on how this is about to go down.
Thanks to this new footage, we now know Nadia is a thief, as well as a cheater. She informs her chat how she stole a Fortnite skin.
I remember running into Target and using one of their trial Android phones and sitting there for like 2 hours.
No, that is called stealing, and completely against the terms of service, set out in the Epic Games promotions and gifting section of the licensing agreement. It's just another example of dishonest behavior, and Epic Games were quick to address this.
She would do terribly at the event, missing a lot of her shots whenever she was getting into firefights with people, and overall showing everybody that she's not very good whenever she isn't cheating. It gets weird though, as she would try to install Warzone in between rounds, and the refs had to intervene to see what was going on.
God, I don't think they downloaded Warzone. Please, 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 please. Oh my god, they did not.
The referee saw she was up to no good, and called for assistance.
Oh my god. Never mind, we can't play it. We can't play it. It's 40 gigabytes, chat. It's over. It's over, bro. It's over. At least I tried.
As a second referee arrived, they firmly spoke to her, and told her to stay in the game.
Stay in game.
Oh, oops. I accidentally lagged out.
The referees stepped in, and told her to never, ever exit from the game during the tournament. They manually took control of her PC. Could this be an attempt to download and inject cheat software? At one point I thought she was forcefully removed from the event. However, she returned some time later and got ready for the second round.
The next day on the 18th, Nadia would say that she's having mental health struggles and that's why she hasn't been able to focus on content recently, which showed to everyone that she was either lying to garner sympathy or all the justified hate was starting to get to her. On February 20th, she would be nominated by the Streamer Awards for Best Battle Royale Streamer despite being a known cheater and doxer, and things would go quiet a bit for the next 2 weeks. That silence would be broken when she participated in a podcast episode on March 9th by Brooke of the 100 Thieves Gaming Organization, which is surely something to behold, alright. They would talk between each other about how she started streaming because she was bored and gave it a shot, and then get into the cheating accusations against her. Brooke would ask about why she started posting clips to bait people into watching her, and this is what Nadia had to say.
So I was like, you know what? There's 2 routes you can go. You can defend yourself like crazy, or you can just tag along with it, which is always the best thing to do with like any hate. Just tagging along with it. Because if you give it power, then they win, in a sense, right? Absolutely. If you defend yourself, they win.
She then says that she used to pretend she didn't know how things happened in game in order to bait people, citing the Jake Lucky interview as evidence of that.
And I don't know, or if I saw a video of me and people were like, how this happened, I would give a very vague response on purpose. Like, I did a Jake Lucky interview and people were asking me how this clip happened. I know how the clip happened.
Yeah, of course.
But I was like, it must have been lag. Like, I made sure that
I love it.
as sus as possible.
I love it. I love that.
Now, despite it being obvious she was cheating in a few of those clips in the interview, trying to hide it behind the guise of baiting people was very easy to see through. And also, despite this being toward the beginning of the podcast, the rest of the episode is nothing of importance and mainly just general chatting about random stuff like her living in LA and traveling around and such. The next day on the 10th, Call of Shame would drop a video showing off a multitude of supposed cheaters using a wallhack overlay on the gameplay, and he would play some clips of Nadia that seemed very suspicious, like her saying there are multiple people despite not seeing them and feigning shock when finding somebody hiding, and another of her seemingly tracking someone through the wall when falling down.
You know what floor you landed on?
Top. Multiple? Where? Oh my god! Dude was in the bathroom!
Going on the stairs right now. One more. One more.
Well, I'm dead.
She would continue to fulfill her GMC sponsorship requirements by using it in Warzone when it dropped, but things would get shaky as on April 4th it would come out that the Ricochet anti-cheat used in Warzone 2 was now able to detect Cronus and other cheating software now. She would crack jokes about this on Twitter for very obvious reasons, such as saying she bought a new Xbox controller the next day and that she got a new warning message when she just started to use it in the game. Nadia would drop a video on her YouTube channel on April 6th saying that she moved out of the Face House while not elaborating as to why, so it's safe to speculate that something might have gone down behind the scenes as she wasn't even there for a full year.
First and foremost, I think that everyone knows this, but I moved out of the Phase house / Nuke Squad house. I already know there's gonna be a bunch of questions, and there has been a bunch of questions of why I moved out of the Phase house. To start it off, I just wanna say that I moved out for a few reasons, but I don't really feel like comfortable talking about it yet. I don't really feel like sharing why I moved out of the Face house, but if I ever feel like talking about it, I will, but I will not be answering any questions regarding that.
More sponsor fulfillments will commence on Twitter, but then just 6 days after the Ricochet anti-cheat update, Nadia would start to say that she was going to quit Warzone 2 all of a sudden, saying that it's because the game just isn't catching her attention the way it normally does.
I recently went back to Caldera because I was getting a little bit tired of Warzone 2. I don't know, I feel like the game obviously is not in the best state right now, and honestly, I do miss the movement, I do miss slide canceling, I do miss b-hopping.
It's needless to say that the timing of this Warzone 2 break was more than suspicious, especially when a lot of other streamers started to say the same exact thing, but she would continue to perpetuate this narrative on Twitter to try and convince people that it's truly because she's just bored of it and not trying to avoid anything at all. Her very next upload just 2 days later would be Warzone 2 gameplay though, so either she was just baiting people again or decided to stop using cheats from now while playing the game. On April 25th, Nadia would start to make more stronger clickbait content with streamer Action Man and other people, basically just consisting of a Discord call calling a bunch of random internet people doing challenges or something. She would continue to work with Action Man by uploading a video then playing Smash or Pass on May 10th, and then straight up start doing hot tub streams with the man just 3 days later on May 13th. She would clickbait this again now that she was using her body to get any attention she could to herself with all the teenagers clicking on the video for obvious reasons.
Like, what? We just fragged. We just fragged.
That's lit.
Yo, dude!
What's interesting to note is that she only started getting into this line of work after hitting the lowest numbers of her Twitch career since she blew up, showing everyone just how far she was willing to take it to get any attention to herself for that internet money and fame. Nadia would continue to stream like normal for a good minute with nothing interesting going down, even being planned to show up to the World Series of Warzone, a competition officially hosted by the Call of Duty brand. However, when the event went down on June 7th, she was noticeably replaced by someone named Juice despite being promoted to show up prior. People would speculate on why this happened, with most coming back to the fact she started to show her body on Twitch and that being a potential reason why she was silently dropped from the competition as Activision didn't like that for their brand. Nonetheless, she would continue on with her life, but then on June 17th, she would release a video on her YouTube channel talking about her darkest secret. This would end up being some more clickbait as she doesn't talk about the obvious thing the title implies, instead talking about some random story from back when she was in high school. On June 19th, Call of Shame will upload a video talking about a leaked Discord call between a bunch of Warzone streamers. While Nadia isn't mentioned in the call, he drops more clips of her being vague about the Face House situation.
she refuses to talk about it.
What really happened with FaZe, based on what happened in the Nuke Squad house, I really don't want to talk about what really like went down. I said in my YouTube video that I don't think I will talk about it ever, and if I do, it won't be now. It'll be way later.
On June 27th, after seeing the success of her hot tub streams, Nadia would start a fan house account, which is basically OnlyFans but on another website. It would cost $10 a month to gain access to exclusive content, which was most likely very risque and borderline pornography, because that's the usual kind of content that goes on these kinds of websites. She would continue to post a handful of thirst traps on Twitter, with them bringing in a lot of newfound attention and money to herself in the process. She would also get banned and unbanned on TikTok around this time as well, but this seemed to just be a fluke and not related to her rebrand as an IRL streamer and OnlyFans chick. On July 21st, Nadia would come into contact with FouseyTube for the first time, a very well-known individual in the online entertainment sphere with a lot of controversy surrounding his name. In fact, he was recently just coming off one where he took advantage of a drunk woman at an airport and was starting to slowly spiral out of control again. And you can somewhat sense that with their first interaction together, as Fousey is being a bit weird but not anything out of the ordinary for him.
Nadia, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
As a woman, what radars came about when you met me?
Good energy.
They would continue to hang around together on each other's streams as their careers grew and grew, with Nadia starting to use his name to clickbait more YouTube videos of her own. She'd also switch from fan house to website passes for the NSFW content around this time period as well. Nadia and her friendship with Fousey would continue to grow throughout the next few weeks, such as having him join a lie detector test with a man famous for admitting them on multiple TV shows and YouTube channels. When it was her turn on the chair, he would ask a very peculiar question about her, and this is the answer that we got.
And the other one was, have you ever cheated in any Call of Duty game? No.
True.
Wow, so she's not a cheater.
Of course, it comes to no one's surprise that the lie detector guy is most likely full of it, as there's a video on the site breaking down his career and practices, which can basically be summed up as someone who states on his own website that the test may or may not be faked for the sake of entertainment, and he's also probably a fraudster who may or may not have built his career off very shady business practices. Now, this lie detector test will go down on August 10th, and it seemed that Fousey and Nadia were set to keep up their collaborations going as their careers grew together. However, that would change on August 14th, as Nadia would mention airing out a bunch of stuff having to do with Vegas on Twitter, and on August 17th, she would upload a video to her YouTube channel explaining this brand new beef she got into with Fousey. Nadia would explain that the issues started during the lie detector stream as she was an hour late showing up and Fousey blew up on her because of it, going on to name some other stuff having to do with their friends and them telling each other they think the world revolves around them when arguing, and then going on to leak DMs when they were arguing with each other after he was apparently talking trash about her on his stream after getting kicked out of a club before getting let back in. She would continue on how Fousey was trying to get backstage at a concert and reference that he seems to always want people to do things for him, and continued to rant on about how he's so needy and got upset at her for not being invited to another party despite her already telling him no. Fousey would then show up uninvited and get kicked out, and Nadia would then show how Fousey was trying to set her up to take the fall for not calling him about it, so she would show her phone log showing him lying to his audience as they had never had a call together during that time at all. She would then show her frustration with Fousey as he called a friend of hers and tried to negatively affect her relationship with him in a form of revenge for being kicked out, rant on some more about how he's a bad person, and end things off basically saying that he's lost and going down a bad path in his life.
Or he's just screaming at waiters, he's screaming at his employees and putting W's. Those people do not care about him, and I wish he could see that for 1 second that they don't care about him. They just find that entertaining.
Given that Fousey has a well-documented history for this kind of snaky and disingenuous behavior, she should have expected him to do this to her sooner or later, so it seems this was a learning lesson for her on who not to hang around, even if they're super popular and can bring easy attention and views and money her way. By this point, it was clear that Nadia was going all in on this IRL content, as it was mostly just her hanging around party locations or out with their friends. It's nothing groundbreaking or even entertaining, people only watch because of everybody around her and to see all the cool things a rich person might do in their life. She hadn't been streaming video games consistently for a while now and was instead just hanging around pools in her bikini to get those easy views from a bunch of young teenagers. And to put it bluntly, her actual content was dying, she was just using her name and body to keep people around. There was no actual entertainment to be found anymore, no constant rage moments, and most importantly, no Call of Duty content was being made. That was the franchise that put her on the map and she decided to move on from that, yet for some reason, her entitlement was still rear its head around the corner. On September 3rd, Nadia would post a tweet calling out Activision and other content creators for a double standard, saying that she wasn't invited to the Modern Warfare 3 event because she posts risque images online now and kinda just rants about it while trying to get her way. It was clear that she felt entitled to the offerings and events that Activision puts out for their content creators, yet she already left the franchise behind and was too stubborn to realize they're not going to work with someone who doesn't want to work with them. She chose to make hot tub content in her bikini and drop Call of Duty and now had to live with it. And when she had Jake Lucky, the guy who helped put her name on the map and defend her throughout her time playing the game, not on her side, you know that she dropped the ball on that front pretty hard. She would delete the tweet within a few short hours, but it became pretty clear to everyone watching that she still felt entitled to a franchise and company that she left behind for this new style of content, and she was now facing the repercussions of her actions. Nadia would continue to embarrass herself for internet attention, as during another hot tub stream on September 7th, she would end up losing control of her bowels when entering a really cold pool full of ice.
All the way, stay in. Y'all got this. I got this. Let's go.
Yo! What the hell?
Oh my, bro.
This clip would make its way around Twitter and people make fun of her for it, but to no one's surprise, this would end up being a prank she set up for more attention, as she would show people a week later how she did it in a cool video posted to her Twitter account. Granted, it was already obvious, as you could clearly see her left arm at a weird angle the whole time and her friend literally staring at her waiting for it to happen, but anything for easy views and attention, I suppose. Now, a couple of months ago, it was announced that Warzone Caldera, the first Warzone before Warzone 2 came out and it was rebranded with the Caldera name, was going to have its server shut down by Activision on September 21st. While this was a bit shocking given Warzone Caldera wasn't exactly that old yet, it made sense to allocate their resources elsewhere to save on maintenance costs and whatnot. Nadia and other Call of Duty streamers will take notice of this for obvious reasons, and so on that day they will launch up the client to get their final match in before it was gone for good. During her time playing, Nadia was having issues with their game freezing up on her, so she would quit the client and even restart her PC to see if that was the issue, and soon headed back into the game to get back with their friends.
Bro. Bro, I just got banned.
Yep, Nadia just got banned live on stream, with the chat lighting up after realizing what was happening in front of them in real time. This news has spread like wildfire in the Call of Duty scene despite her deleting the VOD from Twitch almost instantly after the stream ended, as people finally saw her getting banned for what the assumed reason of cheating was given all the evidence we've seen this past year. Jake Lucky would talk about this on his Gamer Update channel, where he would say that it might be her trolling people given she's done these kind of stunts before. Despite most people writing off Jake as a hack who sucks up to other popular people all the time to further his career, this is something worth pointing out, as Nadia does have a habit of pulling off stunts like these. What makes me believe this might not be one this time, however, is that her reaction was way more different than when she usually gets into a shocking situation, as she was quiet for 30 whole seconds while staring at her screen, making a very concerned face that nobody has seen from her before. That's not to mention, she usually starts to brag about trolling people within a week or two after she's done so, but she's been absolutely silent on the topic publicly since it happened, which is very unlike her if she was pulling off some sort of stunt. Perhaps she's just playing the long game and waiting for more people to claim she got banned for cheating and epically own them later, but for all intents and purposes, it seems that Nadia is officially banned from Call of Duty once and for all. Nadia has had a very interesting story despite only being around for a year and a half to 2 years at this point. Well, it was pretty obvious she was cheating the very moment she started getting popular. She was able to successfully turn it into a way to keep her brand growing, no thanks to other Call of Duty streamers who were too scared to expose her to the public and instead only skirted aside or leached off her name for their own views. There's been this reoccurring notion that a lot of modern day streamers in the Call of Duty scene are also cheaters, they're just better at hiding it, and after researching all this, there's certainly some merit to those claims. That's not to mention she had heavy ties to Infinity Ward and Activision itself, hence being included in the promotion for the GMC vehicle back in January. Nadia was set for the rest of her career, to be honest. She had the protection of both other streamers and Activision themselves, yet she threw it all away once she started to fall off even a little bit on Twitch. Changing her content to focus on her body rather than gaming caused Activision to drop her pretty quickly, hence being dropped from the World Series of Warzone. While we'll probably never get an official answer for that, it's safe to assume it had to do with her getting into hot tub streaming, as she started doing that just a month before getting replaced. Doubling down on that with the OnlyFans stuff and IRL content, while definitely getting her channel back to what it once was before the fall off, only made Activision more content with their decision, and it comes to the surprise of no one that only a couple weeks after trying to frame them for a false double standard did she finally get banned off the series. Nadia has moved on from Call of Duty, and Call of Duty has moved on from Nadia. And it's safe to assume that she will continue this thirst trap-esque content, as it has shown to bring her the same amount of attention when she still played the game, and arguably could even surpass the numbers she used to get when gaming in general. While it's still frustrating to see that she cheated her way to the top, it's nice to finally take solace in the fact that people were right about her from the very beginning. The story of Nadia and her Call of Duty career seem to be officially over now, so one can only wait and see what the next chapter of her life consists of, and from what we've seen so far, it's not looking to be the most impressive.